Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, we're about to start a new week. And I think it's pretty darn critical because there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. Of course, the FOMC meeting, which I'll talk a little bit more about, but also earnings. And also, basically, this week is going to set the direction and tone of the rest of this year. So, it is definitely critical. So, let's discuss what's going on and how this week will affect Bitcoin and crypto. Also, I got to mention some other stuff. Large YouTube hack this morning with a lot of influencers. Fortunately, I was not one of them. And also, several other prominent influencers seems to have called it quits. So, let's discuss everything. Thanks for tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, articles, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. I know a lot of you guys are feeling a little bit better, but not too much because the fear is still high, although we are slightly higher right now than yesterday. In fact, earlier today, Bitcoin actually pumped above 36,000. Now we're back at about 35.5. So it does seem like temporarily we have found that bottom at 3,400 and now we're slowly inching up. However, like I said, fear is still very high. Yesterday it updated, the fear index updated to 11. And who knows when this updates, if it goes lower or actually stays, but nevertheless, there's a lot of fear, and you guys could tell right here, right? Look at this clump of fear right here. Very, very similar to the clump, though, back when Bitcoin fell to 30,000, right? It's very similar. You have this one peak, right? And then you came back down to the tens several times, although that time it was a bit more, but it does seem very, very similar. However, the fear does seem to be spreading even among the most bullish people. I thought I would never see this. It's like for YouTubers, for influencers, it's okay to make fun of the fact that you may have to go to McDonald's or go get a night job to stack sats. But I never thought that Michael Saylor would actually be one of them. No, this is not a troll post or a meme post. BCA, welcome. Michael Saylor himself tweeted this morning. So even he is starting to feel the pressure, or at least trying to add some, comic relief to the fear level right now, right? I don't know where this tajinas is. It's some kind of stir fry place, like a hibachi place. I don't know where that is, but he decided not to choose McDonald's. But I did not think I would see this from a multi-billion-dollar corporation or the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So he's definitely feeling it. Also, a lot of you guys know Meet Kevin. Kevin actually posted this video yesterday how he sold everything. Not only did he sell everything, he took a huge short position too. So he said he sold about $20 million worth of stocks and probably crypto. I don't know if that includes crypto. And he took $1 million short position against the market. That's how confident he is, or risk. It's a very risky thing. But that's how confident he is that he believes that the market will go down. So obviously he lost faith or he's just gambling at this point. Bitboy this morning posted this and said, top 3 ways to survive crypto bear market. And I listened to this. Basically, Bitboy is sounding very bearish, saying that his prediction back earlier in 2021 about topping around September, was delayed a little bit, but ultimately, we got to prepare for a bear market, right? So some of the most bullish people have turned negative, turned sour. And this was my point yesterday. My stream yesterday was, you know what? When you have so many people so confident, 100% confident now that we are going to head lower and that we are going to go into an extended bear market and that there will be no recovery and that the Fed is going to go extreme and be on the extreme hawkish side, well, that's usually when you want to hedge against everyone, right? That's usually when there's just too much of herd mentality out there, and you got to think for yourself, if everyone is thinking that this is going to happen, maybe it won't. Or maybe it won't be that bad, right? Because right now, literally everyone in the stock game and the crypto game thinks that this meeting that's going to happen this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, it will be disastrous for the market. Like, this is what everyone thinks. Wall Street also thinks so. That's why everything has been sold, right? That's why NASDAQ and S&P and Dow has been ugly. Let's just put it that way, right? Well, here's a NASDAQ 3-month chart. I mean, you could see clearly November was the top. December wasn't bad, but, you know, starting January, boom, just like fell off a cliff, right? S&P 500 wasn't too bad until, boom, it fell off a cliff. And I don't have to show you guys what Bitcoin looks like. Also fell off a cliff. So it's like within the last few weeks, everyone has determined that this meeting is going to be super, super, super bad, right? So here's the thing. I say this is a pretty darn good time to be doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Does not mean that you go all in. Does not mean that, you just take all your money and put it into the market, right? But I would say this is a pretty good time to be DCAing. We have fallen much over the last month. We have seen double-digit losses across the board. And the fact that everyone is so sure that we will see worse times coming up, right? Kind of tells me maybe we should do the opposite. This is what all the famous investors tell you. Don't follow the herd. Don't follow the herd mentality. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Buy when others are fearful, right? So I think it's a pretty good time to DCA, to dollar cost average, even though some people will disagree with that and think maybe we will fall to 30,000 and maybe we'll go even lower than that, right? And possibly we could. I've said that. Maybe we can go back down to 30,000. Why not? We hit it back in April, May of 2021. Can we hit it again? We're only 5,000 points away. Sure, we could hit it again. But that's the whole point of DCA, because you just don't know. You don't know if that's bottom. You don't know if we're ever going to get there. Or maybe this 34,000 is the local bottom that we saw, right? You just don't know. But in terms of DCAing, dollar cost averaging, this seems like a pretty good time to at least get a little bit in case every single person out there is wrong. And this Fed meeting isn't as bad as people think, because everyone is expecting that Chairman Powell will come out and say, okay, we're going to be very aggressive. We're going to start our first rate hike in March. We're going to go up 1.5% this year. And you know what? We're going to really curb inflation, right? That's what everyone is expecting. But what if he doesn't say those things, right? What if he says, okay, we're going to raise rates, but probably in the second half of this year, and we'll monitor things until then, right? Because some of the economic news that has been coming out, or the reports, have been pretty bad. They're actually pretty bad indeed. Supply chain issues have not been resolved. There's still issues with jobless claims, with retail sales. And if you look at this coming week, consumer confidence index, most likely that's not going to be good. Home sales, builders and existing home sales have dropped. On Wednesday, we're going to get new home sales. That's probably not going to be good, right? So if you look at the economy, it's not doing as good as people think, or at least not what Chairman Powell has indicated. So he may not be that hawkish. He may not. And what could also drive up the market this week, besides what Powell says, and besides the oversold nature of everything, well, we also have earnings, which we're going to get some big earnings from some big boys this week. So this could definitely help. For example, Microsoft is reporting their earnings on Tuesday. Tesla is reporting on Wednesday. And Apple is reporting on Thursday. Hey, and McDonald's too. Maybe they'll go report they have record number of applicants due to the crypto crash. Maybe they'll announce that. But you have some big players in the industry that will be reporting. And this could definitely turn the traders back, seeing how they've been panicking. And then they realize, well, these guys are doing just fine, right? It could be like that too, because even these big guys have been sold off. So this week will be very, very critical. I think it's going to be a really telling story. And you know what? It may not be as bad as people think. That's the thing. Everyone is expecting this is going to be horrible. Absolutely horrible. How 2022 will basically wipe out 2021 like it did for Bitcoin. And it will do for NASDAQ and stocks and everything else, right? That's what people are anticipating. But you know what? The market tends to surprise people sometimes. Crypto especially surprise people sometimes, right? So bottom line is, first of all, you got to stay in the game. You have to be in the game. And if you are, stay strong, right? Don't let the fudders fear you out. I know it's fearful. I get emotional too, right? But you got to stay strong. Know that we will get through it. And this week is just one more week. Just one more week, right? And we have been through so many periods where it's a lot longer than a week, months, years, at least some of us has been through it, right? And we have gotten through many scary times, many scary times. And we will get through this one, right? But I just want to address this whole thing. The elephant in the room, basically everyone is saying to sell. Sell, they either sold or they're telling people to sell and everyone is just fearful. Well, you got to take a step back and think, well, if everyone is telling you to do that, maybe that's not the right thing to do, right? So, all right, so I wanted to lead off with that. Also, I did want to talk about, luckily it didn't happen to me, but Bitboy said this happened to him. Ivan said it happened to him. Basically, a lot of YouTubers got hacked this morning. Whether or not they didn't turn on 2FA or whether or not YouTube has some kind of vulnerability, I don't know. But I guess even Crypto.com got hacked. And for whatever reason, they left this video up on their page. So I'm not going to show you what it is. But basically, it's a screenshot of an address asking people to send in crypto, which you see these streams all the time, everywhere. Okay, so I mean, don't ever send crypto to anyone, no matter what anyone says. Even right now on the side, this ETH one with 10,000 people watching, I guarantee you that's a scam. Also, this Apple one with Coinbase, that's a scam. There is endless. This Kathy Wood one with Elon Musk, that's a scam. This Elon Musk and Sheep, that's a scam. There's a lot of scam videos out there every single day, okay? If you're confused, just know that no one will ever ask you to send in your crypto and double it and be legit. No one will ever do that. No one will double your money for free. Okay, so don't ever think that a video that you watch, no matter what channel it's on, is credible if they ask you to send in your crypto. I think that's common sense. I think that's pretty common sense. Although I hear every single day people falling for this, and it's unfortunate, but you have to apply some common sense. You got to think, why would someone double your crypto if you send in your crypto first, right? They won't, so don't fall for it. But anyways, that did happen this morning. Unfortunately, my channel was fine. I didn't have that, I don't think, but in case it happens ever, make sure you guys don't fall for it, okay? So don't fall for it. All right, so what else is there? Well, outside of this week, there's still positive stuff. You know, the things I've been talking about for Bitcoin for quite some time is still here. But you know what? If you're applying some of these metrics, some of these indicators, I mean, I think you guys know that Bitcoin and crypto is just very, very oversold right now. The market is behaving irrationally, illogically because of fear, because of everyone thinking that this week is going to be so bad, right? So here's an example of monthly RSI basically hitting to a point like Bitcoin hit back in 2020. Same kind of fear level, right? Same kind of oversold levels. So again, in terms of DCA time, I don't think it's a bad idea or bad time. Balance on exchanges continues to drop. You don't see a sudden inflow, not like in May of 2021 when the miners exited China. You could see clearly there was an influx of Bitcoin into the exchanges. You could see this uptrend in May, June, July. But look at right now, zero. There's no uptrend. What's going on right now is not the holders or miners or anyone else that's depositing Bitcoin into the exchanges and selling out. That is not happening right now. That's not happening. And also, this is another indicator about Bollinger Bands. And basically, you have a top and you have a bottom, right? Whenever you exceed the top or bottom for a very, very long time, guess what? You tend to have a reversal. And right now, we have exceeded the bottom range for 3 days straight, and we haven't done that before. Well, we have, but just not very often. So again, showing that Bitcoin is definitely very, very, very oversold at this point. However, it's not just Bitcoin, like I've been saying, right? A lot of altcoins, a lot of crypto has been sold off. Today, yes, we have some green, but make no mistakes, this is still a huge sell-off, right? Down 10, 20, 30, 40% within the last 30 days alone. So we are definitely seeing a lot of bargains right now. However, there's one in particular I want to highlight today, and that is Fantom. Because this caught my eye. You guys know I'm a big fan of DeFi now, looking at TVL. And looking at TVL among chains, guess who exploded? Despite everything that's been going on, Fantom's TVL exploded 184% within the last month. Their TVL is now at 12.17 billion. And that puts them in third place, right under Terra and right above even Binance Smart Chain. I mean, Fantom is blowing up right now, blowing up. And this is something that I used and talked about before in terms of determining whether or not a chain is undervalued or overvalued based on the TVL and market cap and the ratio. You could see they are clearly much lower than everyone else. Even Terra, which I thought was low at 1.6 ratio, and I say that's low because look at Ethereum, 2.47, right? But man, Fantom's at 0.467, way lower than Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, Solana, Polygon, and the others on this list, right? So Fantom is definitely making strides, even though right now there's market weakness. And mostly it does seem like all that TVL is coming in from their biggest AMM DEX, Spooky Swap, which saw the volume go up 30% today. 30% today. And Spooky Swap and Fantom is highly supported by Andre Krone, who is a big DeFi buff, has contributed to many DeFi projects such as Curve and Yearn Finance and Fantom and overall, right? So, and Spooky Swap, I've used this slightly, not that much, but they do have a bridge. Basically, they have a bridge to almost every single chain, so that definitely helps with their liquidity. They're coming out with their own NFTs. I don't know, Magic Cats, I guess is their first NFT line. And of course, you can farm and you can stake into liquidity pools. And there are some pretty enticing rates right now between many different pairs. So it does not surprise me if you have a very hot AMM like this that's attracting liquidity. That's why TVL is going up, which makes Fantom definitely undervalued at this point if you compare it to everything else out there. So just want to highlight that real quick because it's pretty obvious that's a big jump. That's a big jump all of a sudden. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Now, let's do some Q&A. Pika Power says, Sheeb whales are carrying the coin to an uptrend. Well, that's the good thing about Sheeb. There is a lot of whales, and a lot of Ethereum whales got into Sheeb, and I know a large amount of Sheeb is held by Ethereum whales, but yeah, they're having a pretty good recovery day. I mean, still, you got to put it in perspective. Even though it's up 10%, it's down 42% in the last 30 days, right? So there's still a lot of ways to go, but it is encouraging to see not everyone is fearful. There are some of you that is recognizing, well, I don't know if things are going to go down more, right? But things are looking pretty darn attractive right now. So I'm going to buy the dip. I'm going to DCA, right? Do it the smart way. You can't time bottom or top exactly. No one can. So it's encouraging to see that there are people that's taking advantage right now. Scrolling up, yeah, a lot of these YouTube streams are scams. Why do YouTube allow it? It's hard for you to detect what's right and what's wrong. You know, that's why a lot of legit channels get canceled. And then you see all these, you know, Twitter people get in an uproar saying, oh, censor YouTube. You know, they're censoring crypto. No, it's just because they don't have a really good way. They don't have a good way to detect what's a good stream and what's not a good stream, right? Because they do cancel some of these scam streams, but then they sometimes associate real streams with scam streams. So I know, you know, it's hard. They need to solve it, but I think they just need more eyeballs on it, right? Because you could clearly see it. Just me looking at the list, you could see it clearly. So they just need to dedicate like 1 or 2 people to look at it rather than try to use some algorithm to figure it out, because obviously that's not working. But yeah, that's the reason why. I've talked to people who worked, who is working inside YouTube, and they're like, it's not an easy thing. It's just same thing like scam comments, right? Why is there so many scam comments? But the reason why I don't have it anymore, and many others don't, is because there's this one guy who created a bot, actually a good bot, to actually filter out all the comments now, because YouTube is having a very hard time getting rid of that as well. Check out Crypto Wraps. I'm not going to do that, but thank you. All right, trying to catch up here. Bye-bye. Dow Jones plus 800 by end of the week. BTC 2,500. Prediction. Big boys on Wall Street's buying the fear. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. There's too many that's fearing, you know, the financial apocalypse or something. You know, that's what they're treating it as, right? But who knows? Who knows what the Fed is going to say, right? Who knows how this week will turn out? We just have to wait and see. Space Cadet. Oh, I think you just said that after I talked about Fantom, but yeah, that did go up quite a bit there. Beefy Finance also has incredible rates with Fantom. That's because of Wonderland. Wonderland is not on Fantom. It's on Avalanche. Saeed said, me, Kevin is a big loser this year. He's buying every dip from December. I don't know if he's a big loser. I mean, he's made an incredible amount of money from his channel, from his teachable courses, and from investing. But I do have something else to say that about this, right? Some of you guys know I have another channel called I Am George, right, where I give more personal insight. And I do have something else. I have a really good topic about fear in 2022 and why so many are so fearful, especially some of the most bullish guys. So I have a video about that. I will probably post that soon. So if you guys want to check it out, subscribe to my other channel. All right, now I'm starting to catch up. All right, sorry. You know, when I answer I scroll all the way to the top. Solana or Avalanche? You know, I'm going to go with Avalanche at this point. In fact, I would go Avalanche. I'm highly bullish on Terra also, and now on Fantom too, seeing how the TVL is growing like leaps and bounds. Do you think inflation is based on monetary debasement by the Fed or supply shock from the pandemic? I think it's both. There's no, I don't think it's one or other, because it's pretty obvious that supply chain issues have been a contributing factor to prices rising. Everything from lumber to oil to any kind of product that's being made in China that has to ship here, that's being stuck on the boats because there's not enough people to unload it, to the chips from Taiwan. I mean, everything. There's a supply shortage, right? Caused the price to go up. But obviously, the debasement of money itself, because you're printing out so much, right? That also causes inflation. So it's a combination of both. And that's why things are so bad. If you invested in 2021, I mean, it was the best thing ever. If you invested in 2021, it was the best thing ever. But if you did not invest in 2021, it was the worst thing ever, because everything has gone up in price. And if you didn't invest in something, you didn't park your money that went up faster than inflation, then you really got screwed. So, I mean, that's the bottom line. 2021 made almost every investment go up 10, 20, 100-fold. So, there you go. I did look into Time of Wonderland. I'm not ignoring it. It's one of those projects you don't know if it's to sustain itself. And time has dropped so much that all the rewards that you got is worthless. So it's just a matter of, can the tokens hold? And can it continue? Michael, big super chat. Market behavior, either stocks or crypto, a function of political economic environment. Record inflation, continued COVID issues, huge government, pending military confrontation. Yes, let's not forget geopolitical stuff like Russia and U.S. and Ukraine. There's a lot of things going on. I'm not going to doubt that. There's a lot of things going on, which is why so many people are fearful and why so many people have decided to just call it quits and just leave the market, right? Maybe they are right. Maybe it is time to do that. But, I've been through a lot of these times where it seems like it seems like it's going to be, what they say about anticipation of pain is worse than pain itself. It's like that. That's what it reminds me of, because I've been through too many of these with stocks and with crypto. Not to say that I'm not taking precautions. No, I've told you guys I had built up about 30% in cash, right, for reasons like this. But my remaining amount has gone down. But I like to remind myself they're unrealized losses. And overall, the number of Bitcoins I have has not gone down, right? So that's why I continue to stay positive. I have not kept up with Kava, but I know that they're starting to get more integrated within the Cosmos ecosystem, which is good. Do you think 2017 coins will reach new highs in the bull run? It depends on what 2017 coins. Let's see here. Do you think Memo will follow BTC during its recovery? I can't talk about it. I don't know. Memo and MIM, it's all created by the same guy who created Time and Wonderland, and he has some really complex formula, how they all tie in and rebase and all that stuff. I can't tell you. Another member, Au, welcome. Question from Clueless. If Bitcoin was bought high, would it be worthwhile to sell now and buy back immediately? For tax harvesting, yes. But, I mean, we just started a year. So you go basically wait a year for it. And plus, why that might not be good, because if in the U.S. they're talking about getting rid of the tax harvesting rule for crypto. So if you do that, you know, that it doesn't serve you any purpose, right? Especially if you have gains and you do that, you're basically you're taking a capital gain or loss. If you're still in a profit, then you have to pay taxes on it. So I guess you could do it if you're trying to claim a capital loss for next year's tax, then sure. Do you think all these high-profile people are being truthful? Maybe they're using their influence to manipulate the market so they can acquire cheap crypto. I think they know that even though, yes, they have some influence, they can't have massive influence that will drive the market either way. So that's the thing. If they did, the SEC would be knocking on their footsteps already. So, I mean, they could be partially truthful, but, it's one of those things. If you're a psychologist, there's a certain term for it. Basically, there's a certain thing for it. Like, if you're making a decision and you're not so sure about that decision, or you think it's a bad mistake, right? You want to let others know, right? Like you're releasing yourself. Like you're having a confession moment, right? So I feel like a lot of these guys, like Kevin, what he did, is basically like a confession. Like, I don't think he really wanted to do it. And he knows it's such a big risk. But, he claims that he wants to be transparent and stuff, and then he comes out with it. But I think it's really like a confession of the soul. Like, I really wish I didn't do it, but I did. I think that's how it is. I've been explained before by psychologists. That tends to happen to a lot of people. But who knows? I could be 100% wrong. Maybe Kevin is just brilliant, and he took a short on the market because he knows it's going to go down, and that's how he's going to make massive amount of money on top of his massive stockpile already, or cash pile. Maybe it is just that. I don't know. Let's see. Any update on Oasis? No. Why do you think people think another person will give them free crypto? Because people are gullible. That's honestly, that's what it is. People are still wishing and hoping that they can make money for nothing. That's why the promise of getting free money is so enticing. Because honestly, most people want to make $1 million, but they want to be handed that $1 million. They don't want to earn it. They don't want to work for it. They want to just take. So I saw this guy, this influencer on TikTok, and I don't know his name, but he seems like he's pretty big. I'll give you an example. He asked this one other guy, would you rather be given $100 million or earn $20 million? What would you choose? And the other guy's like, of course, I would, rather earn 20 million. So then this influencer goes on and says, you know what, that's just stupid. Taking $100 million means you have $100 million, right? It's 5 times more than the 20 million. So you're stupid for saying that. You've been taught to say that. And then he made the guy he was asking so confused, and the guy's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I should have taken 100 million. But that's the worst. That's the worst thing ever. You take that 100 million, you don't know anything about it. You don't know how to invest it. You don't know how to save it. You don't know how to earn it. You go spend that and be done. And you won't know how to get it back. But if you know how to earn $20 million and you've earned it, even if it disappears, you'll be able to earn 20 million again. Okay? I'd much rather be in the second position than the first position. But most people, I feel like, and I'm generalizing, and I apologize if I'm generalizing and you're not in that position, but I feel like most people would take number one. Yeah, I want that free money. I don't want to earn it. But I'd much rather be in a position where I've earned it and know what I did so I could repeat it over and over and over and over and over again. That's the reason why people fall for these scams. That's the reason why. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Got a little off topic here, but overall, you know what? Bitcoin is just still hovering. This week will be very telling, and we'll see what happens. I will stream tonight. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I will stream tonight. 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you tune in. And if you have a lot of time on your hands and you want to like check out some of my other channels, you know, how do I get to it? No, don't check out that. Don't check out that scam channel. You don't want to check that out. If you have a lot of time, go to CryptosRUs.com, go to my page, scroll to the bottom, subscribe to I Am George, because I will be posting that other video about fear in 2022 and why so many people are fearful. And my other channel, Boardroom Live, which I talked about yesterday, that one has nothing to do with crypto, just so you know. That one is just me with my friends having a good time. But we may talk about crypto in the future, investments overall, but check those out, all right? And I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care. Bye-bye.